last week's disaster. Last week was not a disaster. Last week was a great laugh. Right, okay, let's have a look. I'm gonna have a quick look in the GT3s. See what we got. Aston Martin or Audi R8. The Audi R8's pretty good. The Z4's not bad. Now, I haven't driven that Bentley yet. I've been told it's a bit of a pig, so I'm not going to go and give that a blast. That is a beast. That's one of the cars I'm going to be doing a bit of a project on when I get around to it. The Ginetta G55 is a very nice GT3 car, as is the McLaren, but I've driven that quite a lot. Mercedes-Benz SLS AMG GT3. Tell you what we'll do. I'm going to do the GT3 in this Mercedes because someone did ask for a GT3. Then after that, as long as I remember, we'll do a GT4 BMW. Right, okay. Let's find ourselves a livery. Go on then, bright red. Ha! Alright, Richie, yeah, okay. Those road cars last week were a great laugh. Once people had played about using different ones, working out which one was the better one to use, we had some cracking races. But given the different levels of ability, you're always going to get a few crashes. But at least there's none of those, oh, I'm going to drive the wrong way because I'm doing crap, kind of stuff. Do I accept friend requests? Yes, but what I do tend to say is talk to us on here, on the Twitch, get to know us. I have got quite a lot of people sending me friend requests at the moment. And considering that we're getting very close to the start of the F1 2015 season, I will sort of get to a point where I may have to say, right, okay, I may have to hold off on accepting too many people, because what happens is I come online, I got like 40 people online, all of which say invite me. If I'm in doing a single thing like this, then obviously I can't invite them in. If I'm in a lobby, there's only so many spaces for people to come in. Right, okay, let's find ourselves a racetrack to have a quick thrash around on. Okay, let's go full location. I want to have a quick look at okay, so that's the full circuit. Right, we're going to go Snetterton then. It's not a circuit that I can sort of picture in my mind as knowing. Richie, as for having the World Trophy back, no, we're not doing it, and there's a good reason for it. With the way that the leagues run, there's already a lot of interest. The FRRI days is pretty much full. The reason that we've got rid of the World Trophy and started up the FRRI days is so that we have an event that people can take part in, knowing that taking part in that can get them entry into the league when places become available, and that's something that we didn't have before. So for those that are interested, there's an event that they can take part in, whereas before we didn't really have that. And there's just lots of people saying, oh well, he should race in this and he should race in that, and it's like, well, hang on a minute, that's not really fair on those that have already been racing. So the way that we're doing it from this season is going to work a lot better. We go down to 2 leagues, get them working as well as possible, and because of FRRI days, the opportunity is there to keep the lobbies full if people drop out, give up, sell the PlayStations or what have you. Right, I just realised I need to up the laps a bit here. Now, one of the reasons that we do get a lot of interest in the Front Row Racing League, I'm not being big-headed here, but I have noticed since I've been doing the live streaming, I've had quite a few people that have watched my live streams and then found the Front Row Racing page and asked about joining, which is why I think at the moment there's only about 2 or 3 spaces left in the FRRI days. And don't worry, Richie, his name is already down. But that's sort of like the newest, fairest way that we can do it, so that the opportunity is there for people to get into the main 2 leagues. Now in the future, obviously we've gone down to 2 leagues, assists off, assists on. So in one league, World Championship, you got no assist whatsoever. In the other league, you can use any assist you want apart from braking assistance and steering assistance. Now in the future, what we may be able to do is have a second league for both. So you could have 2 non-assist leagues and 2 assists leagues, where the secondary league can promote up into the top league. But that's something that if we started now, we would have 2 leagues that wouldn't be quite full. So it's better if it's one of those things, take 2 steps back to take 10 steps forward. Right, okay, quick blip through this, alter some of the base settings. Now, it's been a while since I've driven this this Merc. Now, whoever it was that mentioned about Bathurst for the GT4, remind me about that when we get there, when it comes to it. Ray, if the news bit to you is about possibly having secondary leagues, that's sort of a thought that's in my mind for a year down the line. It all depends on how this season would go. The things at the end of the day, it's one of those situations where we can have a lot of interest, but there is only so many spaces, and at some point you have to kind of say, right, okay, we're full. Rather than, okay, let's try looking at setting up another league in a rush and not having it go how we want. Now, as I said, this is a track I don't think I've done hardly any laps around here, and my steering wheel is turned to the left. That's me going straight. Okay, let's return to the pits. You're going to sort yourself out, Will? Thank you very much. Right, okay. Oh, excuse me. Come on, brakes, warm up. Right, I'm going to do a few laps here so I can try and learn the track, but I'm going to try and do it without setting a qualifying time, 'Cause it is a track, I haven't got a clue where it goes, so it's going to take 2 or 3 laps to have any kind of idea where we're going. So for quite a big car, this is feeling very light.
Tyres are hot, brakes are good. The car is perfect. Let's make this happen.
And floaty. Okay, that's a corner I'm going to have to remember. Giant sausage. Oh, I remember this track. This is where Ray posted a video with a massive pile-up at the start of a rookie race. Oh, come on, off the curb, boy. Come on, these brakes are horrible. Okay, hairpin into fast left. Now this is where ideally I'd have the map or the track map fixed. I'm not a big fan of when the track map swings around all over the place. Oh, okay. So it's long straight. I'm going to have to take that left slope because of tight right. Now people may be watching this thinking, oh, he is absolutely shocking. Well, when you're on a track that you've never really driven before, you're going to go off. But the way I tend to work it is, if you go off, there's more chance of you remembering the track. When you look at the likes of Michael Schumacher, he always used to push beyond the limits to the points where he'd go off track, and then he'd know that he'd have to come back a bit. Car's not feeling very balanced, making it tricky. Okay, this is hairpin left into fast left, tight right. Okay, so this is long straight, slow left, tight right. And then we're heading into a loopy right, which heads into the horrible tight left. Bloody hell, it doesn't like that corner. We'll have to go really, really slow for that one. Now you are getting an exhibition here of me learning a track. The thing is, when you're trying to learn a track, it's very difficult to try and work out a setup for it, because it's one thing learning where a track goes It's another working out where the limits are of the circuit. And normally, if I was learning a track, it'd be the kind of thing that I'd do in private, so all these mistakes wouldn't be seen. Okay, slow left, tight right. And the horrible loop. We will make it. Now that may seem very, very slow. It's still 50 mile an hour, so we can work on that. Go on then, youth, I'll let you through. I'm not interested in lap time at the moment. What I'm interested in is what gear I'm getting into up here. Right, okay, a couple of tweaks to the setup. Oh, and it's a big jump, you son of a bitch. Okay, do we take the risk? Okay, we're barely using 5th gear, so that'd be the same. So that may be too short, so let's give that a try. Now doing that means 1st gear should not be used. A lot of camber on there, a hell of a lot of camber. I'll leave that as it is for the moment. Okay, there's been a fair few messages pop up. I shall get to those at the end of this qualifying session.
Blue flag, you've got faster car approaching, let them fight.
Yeah, he didn't like the curb. Come back, come back. Now, I'm not going to spend too much longer trying to learn this track. But I'm probably going to make one or two final changes. I do just want to try pushing it deep or deeper into this braking zone. Yeah, it's not having it. Okay, right. Last couple of changes I want to make. I was going to go up a bit on the downforce, so I shall. And that is pretty much it. So let's go and see how bad this will be then, shall we? I'll quickly press. I don't need to press pause. Right, let's catch up with some of these messages. Are we going to broadcast World Series? You obviously didn't read the post that I put up on Sunday. Thank you very much, Frogbear. Considering that this is a track that I don't think I've ever driven on before. No, I've driven it once in the Ford Mark 4. No, the Ford Mark 1 in the wet.
I'll call the green. Get ready.
And I didn't get to learn it then. So considering it's a track that I don't really know, I ain't expecting too much from this. Other than potentially lots of carnage. Someone's off already. Oh, unlucky. It's not nice being in traffic when you have to keep pressing the brakes when you actually want to be accelerating. Now, I may have just given him a little bit of a nudge, but we are in touring cars, and it wouldn't be touring cars without a little bit of a nudge. Too quick, come back. Thank you. Just trying to chuck it up the inside. Tried taking that in a higher gear and it's cost me. And squeezing. Come on, get around. Go, 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 go.
That's your fastest lap in the race so far.
You are not chucking it up the inside, fella. I will get defensive if I need to.
Big push now. Let's fight our way past. You can do it.
Too much understeer there. Oh, so after all that, it comes about fast. Well, let's try again. Oh, too deep. Too busy looking in the bloody mirrors to where he was. I really don't like that corner.
Looks like there's one on your tail. Start defending your position. Cover the inside line in the braking areas.
Too quick, too quick. Had to get way too heavy on the brakes then. Well, he's ballsed up behind, so I can ignore him for a while. No, but I'm making mistakes. Oh, come on, get off the curb. Better line through there that time. Trying to go faster through there is costing me. Go through slower, take it faster. Oh, too deep and not down enough gears, come on. Now usually in a race
The driver
on a
ahead's
track
got a
that I
3
know.
second lead now. Keep the pressure on, stay consistent, focus on the lap time, keep pushing,
The
keep pushing.
the mind will wander because you know the track, because I know the track. It's not usually a problem. If my mind wanders the slightest around here, we're off. Well, try saying the guy who's behind me's name. This Bergamajgaya. And see, that's what happens if your mind wanders and you try reading the AI cars' names. You're not going to make it. Come on, go. Don't lose a place on the last corner of the last lap. I will get super defensive if I need to. Tricky track that. With another 30, 40, maybe 50 laps practice, I may get that final corner right, but quite a tricky little technical circuit that. You got an ashtray in these vehicles. I don't know. I was too busy looking at the track to have a look at that. Okay then, so next up, BMW GT4, I believe it was you wanted, at Bathurst. Hopefully that'll go a bit better. Whew. Now I can't really blame anyone for the circuits that we've been using, because for the most part I've been picking the circuits. Some of the tracks I've had to drive today have been evil cars. Surprisingly though, the Lotus 49 so far has been the nicest car to drive. I mean, that Merc's not too bad, but I think on that track with those types of corners it definitely did struggle a lot more. Okay, Bathurst. I am going to take a momentary break. So GT4 BMW. That would be that one then. Yep, BMW M3G. I'm going to select it in here. And I can pick the livery on it. Ooh, bit of a wild one. Now this is a car that I have driven before. I haven't driven it around around Bathurst though. So I mean, driving these cars on tracks that I've not used them on does mean that I haven't got a setup on them. Okay, I'm going to go Hankyu Challenge Extended. Is that a name of a livery or just something you commented on? Something you commenting on? Okay. The Z4 is not a GT4, it's a GT3. Who was it that suggested? It was Limbonic Soul. You know, he suggested the GT3. Alright, Frogbear, it was you that suggested the GT4. So you want it to be the Z4 BMW then? Okay. Let's find ourselves a livery. I do like quite a lot of the liveries on a lot of the cars. I mean, I don't know where they get them from. I mean, some of them do look like a bit of a knockoff of real ones. Others do look like real ones. So I don't know whether some of them are actually real and some aren't. One thing I do know about with Project Cars 2, one thing I've heard about that is that they're doing another crowdfunding for it, which is a bit of a piss take really, because they've made enough money off this to fund the next game. I believe there's different amounts you can pay, ranging from £100 to £10,000. Now, I know one of my friends has signed up to it, mainly because apparently it gets you your name as an AI car, which I can imagine would probably be quite cool, but only if they actually make it drive like you drive. but anyway, right, I am still having a little bit of a breather, but what we'll do, go into the qualifying session and just spot some of the AI cars as they start a bit of practice. Then I will do a little bit of a run, see how the car is handling, make a couple of little changes. The liveries aren't important, but some of them are nice, some of them aren't. I was just commenting that I don't know if some of them are actually real or not. But yeah, I mean, liveries aren't important. I'm trying to think which game was it I played recently. I mean, take Drive Club for example. Drive Club has got liveries and they're shocking. I'm trying to think which game was it. I think it was Grid. Grid had a very good livery system, which you put it on one car and share it to all your cars, or you could do each car individually. I'm not sure if it is the £100 one to have your name on Project Cars 2, but I think that's the one that Rian has gone for, £100. Personally, I wouldn't bother with that. I mean, it's one of those situations where they have made more than enough money on this game to straight out fund Project Cars 2. They don't need to well, I wouldn't have thought they need to crowd fund it. Let's see how these are handling the top of the hill. I might need the look. I don't mind this track as long as as long as the car can handle the corkscrew section, then this is a fantastic track. I've driven a few cars where the car's absolutely delightful around the whole of the track, and then you get into this section, it's okay in that corner, okay in that corner, and then here it just spins on you. So if this BMW can handle that corner, well, we should be fine. Now, regarding the liveries, I mean, I have spent hours before on other games doing liveries. I mean, Ferrari Challenge was another one where the livery system on that, it was such a pain in the arse to actually work that it was rather difficult to get decent liveries. It would take a long time, and you couldn't share them from one car to another. So for me, a livery system needs to be very easy to use, allowing you to make very good liveries where you can make a whole wide range of things, from your bog standard looking road car with a stripe down it to your mad race car or drift car style, but very simple to apply and at no detrimental effect to the gameplay. Someone's parked in the pit lane. I was going to say the wrong way round, but actually the pit entry is this way, exit is this way. Right, okay, let's go into the tuning, put the tyres on, get rid of some fuel, and go and see what this car is going to be like. Now, I have driven this car on other circuits and it's not been too bad, but I've said that about other cars and then taken them to another track and they've been shocking. So let's go and find out. I mean, one thing that they could have done with this, I mean, talking about liveries there, and as I mentioned, ideally a livery creator should be easy to use but able to come up with fantastic things. Now, I haven't got a problem with the way the car setups are on this game. Now, if you can't hear me, I do apologise, this car is rather loud. But say for example with the car setups on this game, there are going to be a hell of a lot of people that are put off this game because of the car setups. Now, they do either need to add a setting so that in online lobbies the cars all have the standard setting, the same setting, so everyone is on a neutral footing from the start, or perhaps add a quick setup system. Now, I'm not saying that I agree with quick setup systems, but if you've got people that just quite simply don't understand or haven't got the time, go on youth, go past, haven't got the time to work on the setups, because they can take hours and hours to get right, then having a quick car setup system would help those people enjoy the gameplay. Now, if you are on the Project Cars forums, feel free to put that suggestion forward on my behalf. Okay, if I start letting any more cars past, I'm going to have to let about 20 of them pass, so we'll see if we can get up to some speed. I reckon we're going to top it out down here, you know. We are. Right, let's get them gears right. Please have a final ratio, final drive. Yes, thank you. Let's just go up one. Now, you may wonder why I'm adjusting the radiator here. I haven't got damage on. This is a little bit of a secret tip. No damage on, no mechanical damage. You can't blow up your car. Close your radiator, you get a better aerodynamic car. If you've got damage on, you will blow your engine. It's pretty much as simple as that. See, now that's not a bad idea. A crew chief, perhaps a recommended setup. I mean, it's something that I've mentioned on for a couple of years on F1. Had I been involved in the making of F1, within the one player, the single player career mode, would be that option to have a look at teammate setup would be sort of Codemasters recommended setup for that track. It might not be the perfect one, but it'd be a pretty good one. That way, if you have no idea about setting a car up, you can go, okay, what's my teammate's setup? Because if you were in an F1 car, in an F1 team, at a Grand Prix weekend, all you'd have to do is ask, and you'd find out what setup they're running. So really, that should be a feature in the game. And if they did have it on this, it would be very, very good. On the other side, if they did have that, the amount of people that do setup videos on YouTube, they'd have no viewers. That's the spin that I was on about that we've got to be careful of. I've tried it in first gear on purpose to see if it can handle it. Ideally though, we will be going for second gear. Oh, come on, don't be afraid of your brake pedal. Holy crap, my voice. Is there something wrong with my voice? Do I sound like Pee Wee Herman? And if you don't know who that is, you're very, very young. Touch of understeer. Now for those that have joined viewing recently, what I'm doing here is the viewers get the opportunity to decide what car I drive. I may do a tiny little bit of setup work, but not lots, and I'll start races from the back of the grid. The reason I'm not going to do lots of setup work is because it can take hours to get the setups right to how you like them yourself, or how I like them. Now I do a number of different types of live streams. This one is obviously you decide what I drive, so it is pretty much exactly what it says on the tin or title, depending on how your humour is. Other live streams that I do, when I do online races with the groups of friends, where we just have a laugh. I also do help videos. I've helped a few people out that are perhaps struggling with a car or just improving their driving. I mean, my driving has been brilliant tonight. Okay, can you take it in second? Yes, you can. It's a bit more stable, but it is very, very twitchy there. Come on, get round, get round. Other live streams I've done as well is when I've been attacking time trial. I managed to top a few leaderboards in time trial, and when I do manage to do that, I do tend to put sort of the hot lap videos onto my YouTube channel. Now usually I would do it sort of on my own in private, not live streaming, but more recently I have sort of done live streams while doing the practice to get the setup right to go and attack the time trial. And that's how I know that it can take hours and hours to get the setups right. Because one thing I do suggest is, I've got qualified in 15th at the moment, that's not good, I was meant to cut the corner. One of the things I do suggest is when you're doing car setup work, if you're not used to setting a car up, do one change at a time, because if you do 4 or 5, you won't know what will have worked and what won't have worked. Now with these gears, I think they are a little bit too long at the moment. I'm just not quite perky enough. Second gear is just a little too excuse me, a little too lazy. Okay, so we're getting anywhere near topping out down here. No, not really. And he's right on my chuff. Let's practice the defensive line. And ruin his lap. Okay, I want to take a little bit off the gears. Please only move a tiny bit. It moves a massive chunk. Okay, I can't remember now if I moved it twice when I altered the gears last time or just the once. I think I may have done it twice. Catch us with the messages. Your voice is perfect. Thank you very much. Nexus is a girl. Okay, let's catch up with these messages. Frogbear, Nexus, you a girl. Now, Frogbear, behave if Nexus is a girl. You need to be a team member to get your name AI. Interesting. Where the chat goes. But there is work involved. Good driving, thank you very much. I hate this track, it's so disgusting to drive. I actually love this track. And it actually comes from, I think what game was it? I can't remember what game it was. There was a game that me and one of my friends played years ago, and we had the most amazing race around here. It was literally bumper to bumper, overtake after overtake, all the way around the track, and it was phenomenal. The replay was phenomenal, and I wish at that time that I actually did YouTubing, but we're talking 10 years ago, and ever since then I love this track. And it's a track that I've always got on with, but the car has to be able to handle it. Dave, I have a date. I doubt it. You make it look easy, bad bot. Thank you very much. Technically separates racers from noobs. But Tokka was that was a racing game. Although if we played it again now, we'd think, what the bloody hell did we think of this? But back to Nexus. Thank you very much for the comments about my voice. I would say you should hear me sing, but Ray's heard me sing and it's not very good. Whether you're a boy or a girl, it doesn't matter. Everybody is welcome in here. Let's see if we have adjusted the gears too much. Now, one thing that I can say, I mean, I do fully appreciate the comments about my driving, but I can honestly say that my driving today has actually been fairly, I would say, poor compared to how I usually drive. But that is because I do tend to sort of hold myself to quite a high standard. That sounds a bit big-headed. What I mean is I'm very self-critical. So if I make the tiniest little mistake, I know I've made it. At the end of the day, perfect laps come very, very rarely, and to do perfect lap after perfect lap is not easy. It's nigh on impossible. But I do appreciate the comments about the driving. But I would say, if you think this is good, wait until you see me actually driving better, as good as I know that I can. Now, one of the reasons that there's two main reasons why I know I'm not driving as well as I can. One is it is so ridiculously hot here. I mean, I am talking proper silly hot. And another is because I'm jumping from car to car. Okay, that is topping out, so I did move it the one. I am going to have to go for the slightly longer ratio, and we're going to go for it. Yeah, so I mean, I don't drive too well in extreme temperature because I mean I am soaked. The amount of times I've laughed at the end of a F1 race where Lewis Hamilton gets out of his car and you can see his red underwear. But I know the feeling now. But there you go. Right, okay. Anyone here old enough to remember Atari pole position? I'm old enough to remember the Atari, but I never had an Atari. And I've clicked on the wrong thing here. I was more of an Amstrad person when I was younger. Not that I had much of a choice in that. But the noise that they used to make will haunt me forever. Colin McRae, yeah, used to play them. Used to love the Colin McRae rally games. The friend I mentioned about that I raced at Bathurst, what we used to do with the rally games was we'd take it doing a stage each, but this was when we only had controllers. And and the other person would be the co-pilot. So you'd be able to say to him, right, 2 left, 3 right, or what have you. And if we didn't do it, we'd crash. If we did do it, we could go very, very quick. But the Colin McRae games, they got took over, and I didn't really like them after that. The Richard Burns Rally, I had that one, or at least I played that one, and that was very, very, very technical. Now, on Gran Turismo, GT5 anyway, they had rally stages on that, and I must admit I really enjoyed them. The snow ones were a little difficult, but still enjoyable, unless you were behind another car, because there was that much snow or dirt that you couldn't see anything. But it was very good for learning car control on a wheel, because if you went too quick, the car was undrivable. If you went at about the right speed, then you could quite easily do a lot of opposite lock drifting and all that kind of thing, and it made it, for me, very, very enjoyable. But other than those, I haven't played any sort of real rally games for a while. I did try a couple of demos probably about a year ago, and one of them on the wheel was great fun. It wasn't very realistic, but was great fun. On a controller though, it was really, really poor. But on the wheel, I could get plenty of opposite lock and do some real drifting. I don't like the driving, just the accent. Nice to see you have a sense of humour, Glock. ZX81 crew. Hello Suffolk, that's the name I haven't seen. What wheel am I using? I've obviously missed quite a few messages there. What wheel am I using? The T300 RS. Hopefully this simulating the session is not going to take too much longer. Might as well get some drinks in while I can. Wish for the next race, Nürburgring and Bentley GT3 please. Now when you say Nürburgring, do you mean the Nordschleife or the Nürburgring? Now if you can spell the Nordschleife correctly without googling it or spell checking it, I'll do that. Although I started off at the Nordschleife. Oh, bad choice of track to start off on. Seb Loeb, coming autumn sim, what you think? If he has had input in how the game handles and drives, then potentially it could be very, very good. Depends on who's making it. I do know that I think there's a new Dirt game coming out, because I know that Codemasters have shut down the Grid series of games. They've kept the Dirt series of games, but I wasn't a massive fan of the Dirt games. Now if Seb Loeb's is a bit more realistic, then it has the potential for being very, very good. How am I going to tell if he spells it right? Well, quite simply, I'd say, you googled that. Oh, balls. But at least it means the Nürburgring. Okay, I'll give that a try. I haven't driven the Bentley yet that I can think of. Now, this simulating session is taking absolutely forever, and I can't pause it or back out of it. Oh, that was the wrong button. So we're just going to have to sit and wait for a little while. Yeah, Dirt I did find to be quite arcadey. I can't remember if it was Dirt. No, it wasn't Dirt. At the time the Dirt, I think it was the first, no, Dirt 2 demo came out, there was another rally game demo, and it was a proper crappy game, but actually the drivability, the playability of it I found to be very, very enjoyable. But I mean the old rally games, I really did like them, and I never used to I didn't have a wheel at the time, but I really like the rally games. It's one of those sort of, I like, for example, if you're racing at Monaco in an F1 car and you're in the zone like Senna, it's phenomenal. There isn't a feeling like it. The only other place that I've really sort of had that on gaming is on rally stages, where you know you want to push as fast as you can, but if you get it slightly wrong, you're going to roll it a million times into loads of trees, and that's it, game over. So that buzz I used to get from weaving it between the trees was very, very enjoyable. Now I do apologise that this is sat here simulating the session. There's pretty much bugger all I can do about it at the moment. I would have thought simulating the session would have skipped it to the end quite quick. Now I'm hoping that there is only about 4 minutes left. If there isn't, we could be sat here for a bloody age. And if I was to jump out of the game, we're going to lose the live stream, so we'll just have to wait a moment. Come on. It should give me the opportunity here to at least say, okay, stop simulating. Well, I'll tell you what, while we're waiting, I was about to say, we'll do a bit of a Q&A session. So if you have any questions that you would like to ask, feel free to ask. It can be serious, it can be ridiculous, it can be rude, just don't make it too rude. But I will not guarantee that I'll answer all questions. Okay, where in England do I live? In Derby, not far from Donington Park. So if you've played Project Cars and you've driven around Donington Park, when you've gone round the fourth corner and you're heading up the hill towards the two right-handers, I live about 5 miles over the hill. No, changing real-time speeds it up. Wadey. I picked up an Efficient Xbox One wheel for this game, but it always kicks me out to the dashboard. Has anyone had the same problem or know a fix? I've tried everything. Kicks you out to the dashboard. By dashboard, do you mean like the Xbox's main menu? I mean, I'm on a PS4 and I've never really used an Xbox. To buy a PS4. Let's not start an argument. For example, I do know that I had it on the PS4 where quite often I'd be halfway through a race and then the XMB button would appear to press itself and put me into the PlayStation's main menu system. Now in that split second I'd think it had crashed, and then I'd be like, oh hang on a minute, no, it's taking me to this. Now I think there's a couple of possibilities, because I also have it where it pops up my telemetry. Now there's two possibilities. One is your buttons are a bit sticky, so essentially it's sticking, and when you turn it's pressing it in one way or another. Another way it might be happening is if you've got too much feedback coming through your wheel, you're getting too much vibration through your wheel and it's shaking the button on. Now, ways to solve it, one would be try and make sure that your buttons are clean. I wouldn't suggest taking your wheel apart, but try and make sure that your buttons are clean. And another is, if you have not altered the force feedback settings for your wheel, the base settings and the settings for all of the cars, then you're going to potentially be using too much feedback, which could cause your button or your wheel to vibrate too much and your buttons to automatically press. So the question would be, have you set all of your feedback settings? Yeah, okay. What you may want to do is perhaps try turning down, well, I mean it would depend on what your settings are at. My tyre force and feedback are set at 70 and 100, I think, or is it 100 and 100? I can't remember. But the individual car settings are varied. What I would be tempted to do if it kept happening to me would be turn down either the tyre force or the force feedback and see if it keeps happening. It may feel very weird on your wheel, very light, but if that stops it happening, then you know it's the feedback causing it to happen. If it keeps happening, then you know it's not that, and it could be a sticky button. Okay, any other questions? While I see if this is... I've got a feeling that this has pretty much crashed, you know. Come on. Get to the end of the session, please. I mean, I can just about see the time in the top right corner, slightly blurring. It doesn't look like it's actually coming down, which is annoying. Right, if anybody else has any more questions, feel free to ask them. I'll answer them to the best of my ability. One thing I will say though is, don't click on simulating session. Oh. Yeah, I've got a feeling it's frozen as well. I am going to give it a couple more moments, because if it is frozen, then I'm going to have to exit the game, and it's going to force an end of live stream. I'll tell you what I'll do, just in case it does. Advanced settings. Okay, for those of you that may be interested, details will pop up at the bottom of the page. Excuse me, of the racing league that I'm involved with. I'm an admin for, along with about 7 other people. Front Row Racing. Our league is mainly F1 based, and the title there for my YouTube channel, although I have just remembered earlier on, before the start of this stream, I did actually copy a link. Deep Penetration. I'll tell you a story in a moment actually about that. That's quite funny. Or is that? No, it's not Steve that said that. Okay, Wadey, it may be worth googling to check the compatibility of that wheel. I mean, I've not heard of that wheel, but then I don't use Xbox. Right, okay, here is a link to my YouTube channel, and I say I have put previous live streams on there. I've put a few videos on today, but I still need to go and sort them out into the different categories. That link there will take you to my Mercedes Coupe AMG world record time around Le Mans on time trial, and then obviously through that you can find the rest of my videos. But what I will say is, don't worry, Frogbear, you will get your Z4 race, because what I'll do is I'm going to quit the game, I'm going to load it back up, and I'll start up a new live stream. How long I'll be on for, I don't know, but I'll just see that next message. Tell us the story. I'll get there, don't worry. But yeah, once this live stream has ended, I'll reload the game, and I should redo this race. Hopefully it'll save that setup, but I doubt it. Okay, the story. I went on a stag do a fair few years ago when I used to play football. It was one of the players' dad's like 5th wedding or something like that, so I went on a stag do to Germany. There was meant to have been about 16 of us going, it ended up being about 7 of us. But anyway, we had t-shirts made with our initials on them, and mine obviously is DP, which stands for Dave something. And anyway, we wear these t-shirts out and we go to Germany for the stag weekend, and we're out in this German nightclub, which is a bit like I mean, how can I describe it? The guys were all wearing skinny jeans with chains going from their noses to their ears. All the women were absolutely stunning, and then you've got us English guys in t-shirts with our initials on. Anyway, few beers get going down, we get chatting to some of the ladies. Would they realise we're English, so it's all going well. And then they turn around to my brother, and one of the ladies asks him, "Oh, so what does SP stand for?" The other one says, "Small penis." So then they turn around to me and goes, "Oh, what does DP stand for?" And the other one says, "Deep penetration." To which we all laughed, and then the first girl goes, "I wonder if it's double penetration." And I, well, not on me, no. But there you go. So anyway, that's that story. There is many more, but I can't tell them all. Right, okay, this live stream is now going to come to an end because the game has clearly crashed. So I will start up another live stream. If you do wish to come and watch it, feel free to come and watch it. Okay, so I've been Front Row Racing DP. This has been Project Cars up until it crashed, and I'm otherwise known as Dave, or otherwise DP. Right, I shall see you all soon.